trainer. Everyone say hello to Angela. And Angela is working with our largest California sea lion. He is 21 years old and currently weighs in at 586 pounds. Everyone say hello to Robby. Now, Robby was born right here with us at the St. Louis Zoo, and he's been doing shows for pretty much his whole life. He's very special to all of us here. Now, Robby is a California sea lion, and as a sea lion, Robby has several adaptations that help him survive and also thrive in his environment. So we'd like to share some of those amazing adaptations with you all right now. Now, the first and probably the most obvious adaptations that California sea lions have are those two very large and powerful front flippers. Rob's going to give you a nice glimpse at them right now. You can find California sea lions all along the rocky west coast of North America, anywhere from British Columbia, Canada, all the way down to Baja, California. So of course, they're very well built for life on that rocky west coast, in part due to those front flippers. You can see Robby has no trouble getting along on land with his trainer Angela at all. You may also notice that he does have the ability to rotate his rear flippers, picking his chest up and off the ground and walking on all four flippers. This is a very notable characteristic of how a sea lion moves. But quite often, sea lions are confused for another animal, their cousin the seal. However, they do have some key differences between these two types of animals, and Robby's going to show off his best impression of a seal in order to help you understand the differences between the two. It's a lot of work. He's been working on this impression for some time. Here is Rob's best impression of a seal. Like I said, a lot of work. Now, seals and sea lions are different in part due to those front flippers. So whereas California sea lions have very large front flippers, seals have very short front flippers. And when they move on land, they scoot on their belly, almost like an inchworm or a caterpillar. Whereas Rob and other California sea lions, like I mentioned, have the ability to pick their chest up and off the ground walking on all fours. It takes the seal a little bit longer to get around. So hopefully with your new friend Robby's help, you'll be able to tell the differences between seals and sea lions whenever you may need to do so in the future. Nice job, Rob. Now, in addition to those front flippers, California sea lions also have some beautiful whiskers on their face. Now, these whiskers are very fine. They actually have their own nerve endings and blood supply. And what sea lions use them for is to actually help them sense the vibrations of fish swimming in the water. This is especially helpful when they're hunting in dark or murky water. But here in Sea Lion Sound, our sea lions, they don't have any hunting to do. So instead, we've trained Robby and our other sea lions to showcase the amazing ability of their whiskers by using them to balance a ball. So watch closely, because Robby is going to balance that ball on his nose, but what he's actually doing is flaring those whiskers out around the ball, sensing his movement, and adjusting his head and body accordingly. Check it out.
Wow.
That's so cute.
Round of applause for the big guy. That was very impressive. And again, an amazing display of those whiskers in action. Now, in addition to those front flippers and those whiskers, California sea lions have very flexible necks, believe it or not. So Angela and Robby are going to head out a little bit closer to all of you so we can talk about this adaptation. Now, California sea lions actually like collarbones, like you and I. So what they're able to do is move their heads back and forth in all sorts of crazy directions, side to side, back and forth. And what this actually helps them do is capture their prey more efficiently. When they're swimming in the water, they're able to do all kinds of crazy sorts of movements, and this is especially helpful in order to capture their fish. But Rob is going to utilize the adaptation of his neck in a little bit of a different way right now. He's going to use it to actually toss out some frisbees to the audience. So heads up, because these frisbees are headed out in your direction. They are yours to keep if you are lucky enough to get your hands on one. But I will warn you, Angela and I have no idea where they're going to go. Sometimes they can come at you pretty fast. So be ready to catch or potentially block frisbee. Let's have some fun. if you were lucky enough to get your hands on one of those Frisbees, you might want to give it a nice rinse before you get into the car this evening. Definitely has Robby's fishy autograph all over it. Now, as I mentioned, Robby has been doing shows here with us for pretty much his entire life. And he's learned all of these amazing behaviors that you're seeing through our positive reinforcement training. Now, what that means is we reward good and correct behavior. So anytime that one of our animals does exactly what we're looking for, we're going to follow it up with something that they're looking for in return, something that they find reinforcing. If Rob or any of our other animals don't do exactly what we're looking for, that's okay. We're going to pause for a couple seconds, move on, set them up for success a little bit later, maybe go back to that behavior. But there are several very important reasons why we do train, and we'd like to share some of those amazing reasons with you all right now. Now, the first reason is for physical stimulation. For being a 586-pound sea lion, Robby is able to get along both on land and also in the water very easily. And we're able to use our training sessions as an opportunity to promote exercise. Just as exercise is important for you and I, it's also important for our animals to stay active in order to be in the best condition possible, and it's the best thing for their health as well. So we do have a wide variety of behaviors that encourage movement in all sorts of different types of ways, both on land but also in the water. Now, I did mention that you can find California sea lions all along the rocky west coast of North America. So they exert quite a bit of energy every single day climbing. And we're able to encourage Robby to do a very similar behavior here. As you can see, he is able to use his muscles to climb up and down the rockwork in the center of our arena. He's getting his steps in, of course, which is very important for him, just like it is for us as well. We're able to use our training sessions as an opportunity to encourage the use of all their different muscles, as well as make sure their hearts are racing, their blood's pumping, all of that good stuff is going on internally that is best for them. So physical stimulation is a very important reason why we do train. And this behavior also allows you all to get a nice close-up glimpse at this handsome gentleman's face. Now, in addition to physical stimulation, we also train for mental stimulation as well. As you can see, these animals are incredibly intelligent, and they do have the ability to learn all different types of behaviors here with us through our positive reinforcement training. But some of our behaviors require our animals to think in a little bit of a different way. Some of our behaviors actually require several steps for our animals to learn in order to accomplish the ultimate goal of what we're trying to train. We're going to show off one of those behaviors right now. Believe it or not, it's actually a painting behavior. So, Robby and our other sea lions have learned to paint, of course, just a little bit differently than you and I. The first thing we taught our sea lions, including Robby, was to hold that modified paintbrush in their mouth. Now, of course, we also want them ultimately to create paint strokes. So in addition to holding that paintbrush in his mouth, we also asked Rob to follow a target or kind of a position around in order to create the paint strokes that we were looking for. You can see he's moving his head back and forth, side to side, ultimately, hopefully, creating that masterpiece that we want. The next step, of course, is introducing some paint and a canvas. So Angela is adding some paint onto our modified paintbrush. She's also going to introduce a canvas as well. And we're going to see if we can ask Robby to put all of these steps together in order to create a beautiful piece of artwork for us. Now, all of our animals definitely have their own individual painting style. Robby is no different. He really is focused and very aware of the strokes he's making. He's paying attention. He's very, very engaged in this training session and this particular behavior, as you can see. Now, it doesn't actually matter how our animals move their heads back and forth. As long as they're creating those strokes, making contact with that canvas, that's exactly what we're looking for. Now, you may also notice that when Angela wants to let Robby know that he's done a good job, she's going to let him know by either saying the word good or whistling as well. And that's what Robby has learned to mean that this is going to follow. So you can see that he's doing an excellent job creating our piece of artwork. So, there's just one example of a behavior that requires a little bit of a different type of thinking, several more steps in order to accomplish the goal, but he was able to work with his trainer, Angela, to create that painting. So, mental stimulation is a very important reason why we train in addition to physical stimulation. But, the most important reason why we do train is for what we call husbandry purposes. Now, husbandry is a big fancy word, but essentially what it means are medical behaviors. Behaviors that allow our animals to be active participants in their own health care. So Angela and Robby are headed up my way so we can talk about these behaviors. Now, husbandry behaviors can be something as simple as asking our animals to show us different parts of their body, such as their flippers. Just as you are able to show off different parts of your body when you go to the doctor, we're able to encourage our animals to do the same thing here. They're able to be active participants in their own health care. Angela's checking over Robby for any cuts, scrapes, and abrasions. She's making sure he is in the best condition possible. We work with our animals very closely every single day, so we do notice changes very, very quickly, and we are able to address them with our veterinary staff if the need were to arise. Our animals are also trained for various body layouts or positions. This is what we call a dorsal layout, where Robby just has to hang out, hold still, lay on his belly, while Angela gets a nice good look at the top half of his body. Now these body positioning layouts may seem kind of simple, but in reality we're able to actually train other more advanced husbandry behaviors from these positions. Things like voluntary x-rays, voluntary ultrasounds, voluntary blood draws. These are all possible with the help of these basic layouts. Our animals are also trained for voluntary eye drops. This one is sometimes a little difficult for myself, so it's always very impressive to me. Rob's going to hang out, hold still, keep his eyes nice and wide open while Angela does put some drops into his eye. Now right now these eye drops are a simple saline solution, but it's something we've trained proactively with all of our animals. So if the need were ever to arise, we'd be able to transition to a medicated solution very easily, as it's something that Robby is clearly already very comfortable with. All of our animals are also trained to open their mouths. We get a good look at their teeth, check out their gums. Oral hygiene is just as important for our animals as it is for you and I. You may also notice while Robby does have his mouth open that his teeth are dark in color. That's perfectly normal for a California sea lion. These guys have a natural bacteria that coats that teeth, creating that dark color that you're seeing. But we do take it up a notch with this open mouth behavior. All of our animals are also trained to allow us to brush their teeth as well, which is very impressive. Now these husbandry behaviors, they may not be the most exciting behaviors to watch, but in reality they are the most important types of behaviors that we train, because here at the St. Louis Zoo we are dedicated to caring for our animals. Now in addition to husbandry purposes, we take really good care of our animals here, but we also want to use our show as an opportunity to tell you the last reason why we do train. It involves all of you. It's for educational purposes. We're very proud of the fact that we're able to bring our animals up close and personal to our guests, creating long-lasting connections between you all and our animals. We want to make sure we're doing our part to help animals out all over the world, including California sea lions. And there's a very simple action you can choose to take in your own lives that's going to make a big impact everywhere. Unfortunately for animals all over the world, litter is a major issue. And in our world's ocean, single-use plastics are a big problem. Now, single-use plastics are great products. I'm sure we all use them every single day. But when they end up in the wrong spot, they take a long time to break down. And animals can ingest them by mistake or become entangled in them. So our friend Robby is showing you a simple action you can choose to take in your own lives that's going to positively impact animals all over the world. And of course, it's going to be to follow his excellent example. Maybe give those bottles a little rinse before you take them all the way to the recycle bin. But we do want to make sure you're following Robby's example and recycling. You can also choose to reduce your plastic consumption. You can find reusable alternatives. You can even reuse your single-use plastics just as we're using some of our own in our show today. But at the end of the day, recycling is a great option for all of us, and it definitely makes a big impact on animals everywhere, no matter how near or far we are from the ocean. Round of applause. That was a great demonstration. Now, unfortunately, we are getting ready to wrap up our show today. No, Rob, it's hard to say goodbye. But before we go, I do just have a quick announcement. I want to let you all know that there are 2 bar options available for you following our show. There's going to be one just inside of the arena as you exit, and there'll be one just outside of our gates to the left. So feel free to take advantage of either option as you leave today. Now, as promised, Robby is going to show up one last time. He is headed to the highest point of our stage once again, but this time he is going to show you just how high a California sea lion can leap up and out of the water. You all have been fantastic. These 2 have been doing an excellent job all show long. Let's give them one last round of applause for everybody today. We want to thank you all so much for joining us here at our Sea Lion Show at the St. Louis Zoo. Your support allows for us to care for animals not only just here, but also in the wild. Please enjoy the rest of your night here with us at the St. Louis Zoo.
He's like,